you're one of those guys, David Lammy's another, Alistair Campbell, all these people. The moment any Conservative politician does anything that even whiffs of being potentially racist, you're all screaming away on Twitter for days on end, baying for blood, baying for resignation, baying for cancellation. But when it's Justin Trudeau, the PC-crazed, virtue-signalling, halo-clad Prime Minister of Canada, who supports all liberal, wonderful things in the world, despite the fact he does this multiple times, and in fact admits he can't even remember how many times he did this, nothing, nada, nothing from you, nothing from David Lammy.
Well, shall we hear what Femi's got to say,
well,
rather than you telling him what he's going to say?
I'm enjoying this.
I know, exactly.
The point being, Femi, not a word from any of you. The social media airwaves silent. Why? Why would you support Justin Trudeau when if he was a right-wing politician, you would crucify him?
OK, so I didn't say what he did was right. I said that what he did was wrong and it was racist. However, my point is, do I judge him as a racist here and now, today? No. Justin Trudeau, he grew up to be somebody who ended up promoting the rights of refugees. Nigel Farage grew up to be somebody who chose to use racism specifically to scapegoat refugees on the basis of their race. Those are two different people and promoting completely different policies. As for what Justin Trudeau did, I think it's really important that we look at the two different categories of blackface, both of which are wrong, but they say different things about the person doing it.
What are the two different categories?
So, for example, dressing up as a black person in general, just to imitate black people, is racist by definition because it means you're trying to play up stereotypes about black people, and that has all the historical connotations of when they used to do that, blackface, gollywogs, etc. Dressing up as a black person who you know as a character, as an homage, potentially with someone you deeply respect. Cool Runnings, they did that like 2 years ago. Now, you can do that without intending racism. However, unless you're Steven Spielberg, it's going to look pretty shoddy and it's going to be disrespectful as hell.
Do you think that what Justin Trudeau did was racist?
Yeah.
And do you think he should be held accountable for that now, or is he given a pass because he has now decided to be liberal?
There's a difference between being given a pass and recognising that if somebody is today, here and now, somebody who is vehemently anti-racism, promoting progressive policies, thinking they should keep their job.
Kehinde, he reminds me, Trudeau, there's not an issue that goes by that he doesn't lasso his liberal credentials to. This is the guy who wanted the word mankind to be changed to people kind, right? This is what we're dealing with. And my argument with him, I don't believe in the cancellation culture, right? I think the way we rush to get rid of everybody for the slightest indiscretion, whatever, I just think it's all completely out of control.
But you want him to resign?
No, actually, I don't. I want him, but I personally don't think he should, right? However, I do know what he would say if it was one of... he's running for election right now. If this had been one of his Conservative rivals, I'm damn certain that Justin Trudeau would have said, you've got to go. And I'm damn certain his supporters would have said the same thing. And they're all being silent about this. And it's the hypocrisy that I don't like.
Yeah, well, I think, look, one of the things with this idea there's two different kind of blackface, sorry, that's just not true. Blackface is always offensive. You should always know it's offensive. I mean, it takes long. I mean, man had to put it on his face, had to put it in his arms, and didn't think, actually, you know what, this is a bad idea. That tells you this got bad.
And he did it 3 times more that we know about, and we believe, he doesn't know
He doesn't know. Addicted to blackface. Right. That's your Prime Minister. I mean, I don't know.
I
agree with him.
But if you do blackface once and think it's OK, you're probably going to do it.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a number of times.
Yeah,
but he wasn't a kid, right? In the last one, he was a teacher of 29.
Yeah. Canada also has this long history of racism we like to forget. So he knew what he was doing, and I think this is a good reminder that racism isn't just reserved for the Farages or the Trumps or the Johnsons. It goes across the whole political spectrum, and he should be held accountable. This blackfacing is one of the most offensive things you can do for black people. It's like using the N-word.
I was going to say, what does it make you feel when you see it?
I would say there's not many more things you could do more offensive.
If I was a murderer in my teens, which, just to clarify, I wasn't, but then 20 years later, when it comes out that I murdered 3 people, I say, I don't believe in murder now, right? I mean, it's not an exact parallel, but, my point is, like, if you do something pretty awful repeatedly, and at one stage you're 29, nearly 30 years old when you're doing it, I just don't buy the argument he wouldn't have known that potentially offensive. And secondly, this guy, he prides himself on lecturing others about not doing this kind of thing. How can he, in all good conscience, now sit there and say, actually, the rules don't apply to me. My rules don't apply to me?
Oh, again, it comes down to intention. if somebody wanted to murder somebody, you have the intention to cause harm. However, if, for example, me, I mean, Zombieland's coming out this year. If I wanted to dress up as one of the characters from there, and there are no black characters in that film, theoretically, I thought I'd want to try and get as close as possible to those characters. Now, that wouldn't involve me having any racism in my body at all.
No, but it's
it
doesn't make sense.
I get the point.
When Theresa May did the hostile environment policy, did she intend Windrush? No. But Windrush still happened. It was still racist.
And
the intention is a bad argument.
And that is the point. It is about racism by outcome, not intention.
But if it was a Conservative politician racing in the election in Canada against Trudeau, right? Be honest. I want you to be really honest now, because it comes also, I think, to what Twitter's become, which is where everyone's in their tribe, for want of a better phrase, and they don't deviate, even when the evidence against one of their own is compelling, as it is with Trudeau. You know, if you're honest with yourself, if it had been a Conservative politician in Canada, and he had been exposed as doing this repeatedly, and Trudeau came out and said, this is completely unacceptable, he should stand down, you would have been all over this on Twitter, wouldn't you? Be honest.
The question is, if it was somebody who I knew had racist tendencies, if they did something racist, would I assume that they were racist? Yes, of course.
So we're saying he's not racist?
No. I'm saying, would you have been calling for this guy to stand down if Trudeau had said he should stand down? Would you have supported Trudeau? I think you would.
If he was somebody that I knew had racist tendencies, then yes, I would.
Right. So you give Trudeau a pass, even though you would not give somebody who is on the right a pass.
As I just explained, doing blackface creates a presumption of racism.
Yeah.
So if somebody who I already presume to be racist does something that creates a presumption of racism, yes, of course, I would presume to be racist.
But it was 18 years ago. I mean, he says he doesn't know how many times, so there may have been a more recent time. But are people not allowed to have their views rehabilitated
I'm not,
in 18 years? Are they not allowed to say, do you know what? I have no idea what I was thinking.
I'm not saying...
It was clearly racist, and I would not do anything like that, and I would like to atone for that now. We're not allowed to give people forgiveness?
Of course you can. Look, of course people can change and they can evolve, but this is a person who was addicted to blackface, a person whose rise to prominence was he picked out a Indigenous MP, had a boxing match with him, beat him up on purpose to make this is the image I want to put about Canada in a place that has huge issues with its Indigenous population. I don't think you can say this is a person whose credibility we can totally trust just because he's Captain Woke and he has a few nice policies. And the bigger problem is, if he dealt with this, if he was serious about it, he'd have dealt with it before he got elected. He's sorry he got caught.
I agree.
He's sorry about what happened.
I agree. He never mentioned this. It's been sitting there like a ticking time bomb. He's never revealed it.
Well, he never mentioned it because it's not exactly a vote winner, is it?
Well, no, but that's the point. If he was genuinely sorry for it, he would have atoned for it. You don't atone for it like this.
But I just think that we've got to leave it. But I just think that I try and be fair-minded about this, right? So if it had been a left or right doing something that I find disagreeable, I would just say so loudly and vocally.
Yeah, but I think
it wouldn't bother me.
Point is,
but
are you racist now?
Yeah, but what I mean is, I just think too many on the Liberal side are very quick to denounce everybody, but very slow to denounce their own when they're caught effectively with their trousers down. And I just think it's fat hypocrisy. I would take a lot more seriously the fury of the left about this stuff if they were equally furious with their own when they're caught.
We haven't had a situation, similar situation.
It's a nice reminder that racism goes across the political spectrum. It isn't just for the right. The left has a serious problem with racism.
And also, it's actually a nice reminder to any young people who might be confused about this, don't blackface, all right?
Yeah.
Let's just all agree, right? Let's end on the point agree. Just don't do it, right?
Agreed.
The days of going to parties and painting your face black.
They keep happening in
white,
America.
Yeah. Right, it does keep happening.
It's a Halloween thing as well, isn't
it's
it?
ignorance driving it, and in some cases it's outright racism.
Yeah.
And we should just all agree it shouldn't be happening. Yeah. If you are confused as a kid, here's my message to you. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't paint your face black and go to a party
No matter
dressed as somebody
how many
who's
pictures
black
of the
if you're white.
Canadian Prime Minister you see.